Well, hey folks, FatGuyFliesRC. All right, this is the FMS CJ-6 version 2, the Nanchang flight team. And we're going to take it up. This is the version 2. We're going to take it up, have a little fun. This is the maiden flight. Hopefully you watch my unbox and build. We're going to do the maiden flight. And then when we get done with the flight, we'll go over all my rates, as I told you I would, after I've shown you the rates in action. All right. And they're all done by the, they're not done by the book at all. They're all done Fat Guy style. But yeah, it probably ends up being pretty close to the way the book is. So, timer set for 5 minutes. Got a 2700.
Motor hot. Be careful.
2700 4S in there. All right. Right, left, up, down. It's a Lipo brand. Plane has lights and flaps and attitude. I've had it many years ago when it was first released, and I wanted it again. The only thing different from the unbox and build is I was taxiing around the neighborhood, around my street to, well, I'll tell you that story in a minute. I'm missing the spinner off the front. I don't know where it's at. I had to put my own nut on there. It came off. I didn't secure it. So, all right, timer set for 5 minutes, high rates. Here we go. Do our
Takeoff flaps.
Takeoff flaps, and we'll see how that works.
Retract flaps up.
Flying pretty good. I got a 7-channel Lemon RX Gen 2 in there. Not the Tex Gen one. Get a little bit of up trim. Of course, I'm going out into the wind there, so. This is the maiden flight, so I'm just seeing how she acts. All right.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
I love the colors. All right, let's test our stall right off the bat here. All right. Clean stall, flying along, lose power, what she do? All right, the wind is pushing her that way, so, but she just kind of slumps forward. Now I want to see what the stall with the elevator inputs, see what it does. All right, lose power, up elevator, 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 up elevator. Up elevator. Man, she just starts slowly turning. Let me try that again. If that's the stall tendency, then that's a great stall tendency. All right, you're losing power. Up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator. Oh, okay, right wing. Or actually left wing.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Look at that again. Oh yeah, right wing. Nope. I don't know.
It's kind of going both ways.
Yeah. It will drop a wing, but it's not up elevator, up elevator, up elevator. Okay, right wing. Right wing. But not bad. I mean, if you really let it bite you, if you really hold the elevator hard, no power. Yeah, right wing, for sure. All right, but hey,
Gear down.
now I know the right wing is what's going to want to drop. All right. Let's.
Landing flaps.
Okay, definitely got to put some mix in.
Flaps up.
It definitely needs a mix. Because it really wants to start ballooning on me.
Landing flaps. Flaps up.
All right.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely needs a mix. All right, well, we're going to land it without flaps right off the bat. Good flying plane, didn't need any. It needed just a touch of up trim. Is all it needed.
Braking. Cruise
There
mode.
we go. Okay, real quick, I'll do this in edit. I'm going to pause while I put in some flap mix in. I put 5% down elevator for takeoff and 10% down elevator for landing. Let me take off again and see how I like that. I know I do a flight mode, and a lot of y'all, I mean not a lot of y'all, but some of y'all say, why don't you just use a flight mode? And the reason I don't use a flight mode is because it's hard to translate to a viewer what those rates are in a flight mode. I can't say, hey, this is what you set, because unless they know how to do flight modes, it's not going to do them any good. But if you know how to do flight modes, then you know how much easier that is. But I want to be able to give someone a mix for people who don't use flight modes.
Away.
All right.
The gear are down. Ready to land.
All right, let's see now.
Landing flaps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay, so 10% down for my landing mix is great. Okay, that's really what I really don't need it for takeoff, but oh yeah, landing flaps are down and not ballooning or
1
rising.
minute.
Just make it a little bit slower but good stability. Unless you got wind. If you got a lot of wind, then don't use flaps. Oh yeah, those flap settings are perfect. Okay. All right, I'm very, very pleased with this plane. FMS, I know it's an older plane, but FMS, you got a great plane here. You really do. All right, since we don't have to worry about surrendering the field,
Braking.
lots of times the reason I go back to the bench and share things with you
Motor chilled out.
is
Okay,
because
stop.
other people are waiting to get on the field, and if I'm out here just talking about a plane, they could be flying. We do allow more than one person on the field to fly, but usually it's with people who know each other, know how each other fly. But when you got different people out here, we try to do the best we can. I mean, there's no hard, fast rule, just be smart about it. All right, honey, if you'll focus in on the control surfaces real quick. I'm going to share my rates with you, and then we'll talk about CG and then check the battery last. All right, my flying rates that I just flew in, ailerons, I did everything in high rates. Ailerons were 100% with 30% expo. Elevator, 100% with 30% expo. And rudder was 100% but with 50% expo. All right, my flap systems, okay. Remember, this is a single flap and it's a split flap.
I'm looking down here. I'm not looking at you.
Okay, I'm going to tilt the plane up because, well, you can't really, it's underneath there, okay? All right, let me do it like, can you see the flap real good now?
Flaps up.
It's that single,
Yeah.
it's a single flap, okay? Flaps up are 100% no mix. Takeoff flaps
Takeoff flaps.
are 25% positive with a 5% down elevator mix. And then landing is a negative 100%
Landing flaps.
with a 10% down elevator mix. Now you can look at it how it looks from the rear. Can you see it now still?
Oh, yeah.
Takeoff flaps.
Okay,
Flaps up.
so flaps up,
Takeoff flaps.
takeoff,
Landing flaps.
landing.
Flaps
Those
up.
settings again, I just proved 100% no mix for flaps up, 25%, 5% down elevator for takeoff,
Takeoff
And then
flaps.
landing negative 100% with a 10% down elevator mix, and
Flaps up.
those settings are perfect. Okay. CG on the plane I like is 60 to 70 millimeters back in the leading edge route. I like checking with the gear down, like she's going to land. I got my base of my fingers right between those two marks at the 65 point, and she's pretty much level. Maybe start trying to favor nose heavy to level. So yeah, if I put it on the back, definitely nose heavy. If I put it on the front, the 60, starting to favor tail heavy. So 65 is basically perfect. 65 millimeters back. And you say, well, that's great and dandy, but how do you get that CG? Well, it's where your battery placement. Okay. And turn it this way. That way I'm going to come closer. Okay. If you look, see, I've got a 2700 4S. That back strap is almost to the end of the battery, and the front strap's basically right in the middle of a 2700. So, but that's a flat battery. So anyways, you just have to, as long as you can get your CG. It's better for a warbird with this type of wing configuration to be level to nose heavy, or favoring nose heavy, not drastically nose heavy, just favoring nose heavy, than be tail heavy. So, because remember the old rule is a nose heavy plane flies poorly, a tail heavy plane flies once. But I understand that's heavy, not favoring. Like a delta wing jet, you want it to favor tail heavy, just favor it, not be level, to favor it. So, all right, and that's the Lemon RX Gen 2. This is one of the first ones. This isn't the one of the Tex Gen. This is one of the first ones. You have to use a buy and plug and a series of buttons in order to get it to change the configuration. So it's the older style, but it's still the Gen 2. All right, but oh, check the battery. See, that's my director there. I mean, if we got a lot more juice left, then we'll go up some more, and I'll check inverted, because I didn't check inverted and see how she flies inverted. So great flying plane. The only thing is I lost my spinner, the prop nut that goes on there. It came off in the driveway, and of course I do all this testing in the middle of the night because I stay up all night long. Start my day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 59%, you better believe we're going to go up again. So set your timer for 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Fly the way you want. All right, let's go ahead and take her up, and let's test inverted. Okay. Now it's got pretty small wheels, and they're hard, so I don't think it's necessarily good for grass. That might be okay, but them wheel pants kind of hang down. The wind directly across the runway, so it really doesn't even matter which way I take off. Okay.
Takeoff flaps.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Retract flaps up. Seconds.
Oh, really?
30 seconds.
Like no input needed on the elevator to hold inverted. So hold on. Yeah, I'm just barely touching down elevator.
Timer expired.
That's a good flying warbird there. Love the color.
Landing flaps.
Let's see how slow flight's like. Oh yeah.
Flaps up.
Let's see snap rolls. Oh yeah. That poor pilot just threw up all over himself. That's me adjusting the gains.
1 minute.
This is still the maiden flight, folks. Still the first battery ever put in it. All right.
The gear are down. Ready to land. Landing flaps.
Very impressed with this plane. Very impressed.
Flaps up.
Very impressed. FMS, like I said a while ago, I know it's not a new plane, but man, now I remember why I liked it so much the first time. Great flying little warbird.
Motor chilled out. Okay to touch.
All right, we ended up being 1 minute and 40, so 6 minutes and 52 seconds, so the better part of a 7-minute timer. Motor is off. Check the battery again. All right, as I just throw the hatch down. All right, 25% left. So 7 minutes will bring you back at 20 minutes, about 20%. So set your timer for 7 minutes. 6.5 if you're going to really hot dog the whole time. 7 minutes if you're going to do mixed flying. I wouldn't go any more than 7 minutes though, because you're going to come back at basically right around 20%. So, well folks, that right there is yet another very successful maiden from an FMS product. And I love the lights. We'll be here a little bit later. Well, we can't be here for very long, but what I want to do is all these pretty lights and the pretty lights. I want to come back here in the morning, whenever later in the year when we have clear mornings, and do a morning sortie. This time of the year we have fog until basically the sun has to chase the fog away. So I want to come back here, or wait late to the evening, and get us a low light sortie, show off these lights. They're very, very bright. So, all right, well, God bless y'all. God is good. Camera precious, thank you for filming. Thank you, folks, for watching, coming by, and seeing what this fat guy is all about. And this is FatGuyFliesRC, and that is the FMS CJ-6 version 2, the Nanchang Performance Team. All right, God bless y'all. Bye-bye.